some of Jack's stuff too. Yeah. All right, well, let's get started. Let's reward the people that are on time.
Tell us something good.
Tell me something good. All right, come on, tell me something good, gang. What do we know?
Canada Day today.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Canada Day for all you Canadians.
Or if any of our agents have announcements, or they're trying to raise funds, or they're trying to do something important, feel free to announce. Susan?
Yeah. We're doing the bake sale at.
Come to the front there, Sue.
This is for the Witching Well Foundation for the Realtors Association. So we're currently doing the bake sale. This is just a sample of what we have. Monte Carlo cookies, shortbread, and these adorable sugar cookies, little shark and a little octopus and a little hanu and a whale. It's kind of cool. So they're going to be there till 4 o'clock. There was a lot of stuff that was pre-ordered, but there are still baked goods available. So please stop.
Is it Ram?
It's at Ram. Yeah. So it's
Great.
on your way out, just swing by and grab a box of
What's the
cookies.
goal? Do we know the goal they're trying to raise?
It's just to help with the school supplies. So we had a lot of outgoing this year, especially with hands-free moving from that's the school that I do. So we had just had a ton of stuff that went out. So we're just trying to put funds back.
Replenish.
Exactly, replenish. So yeah,
Great.
thank you so much.
What a great
And Sam,
cause.
So at the GFN, we had raised $1,400. So
Yay.
if we could double that today, that would be amazing.
awesome.
With
Okay.
our leftovers that,
The
we still have.
Extras.
leftovers,
Yeah, perfect.
Please help.
And Sam did peach cobbler.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome.
Awesome.
Individual peach cobbler. Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you for the good work. Trivia question. What's happening on Wednesday? Come on, guys. Benjamin.
Osaka.
Huh?
Oh, that's his tell me something.
What?
I'm flying to Osaka.
Oh, well, that's something good. That's
West
something.
Side is happening on Wednesday.
Thank you, Joyce. West Side Caravan or West Side Huddle is happening on Wednesday. At the listing, I don't know what the address is, but it starts at noon, not at 10. Okay, it starts at noon. I'm assuming they're gonna have lunch.
Yes.
Okay. Real quick before Colette gets introduced, because nobody knows who she is, I think. There's a few of you that I don't think so. Harpta Fripta, for your listings and your purchase contracts, make sure you have that conversation with your sellers, right? It applies to sellers. With that in mind, make sure you go over your contracts with your people, right? Don't just send and have them initial sign. Go over it with them, because that's where you're going to get in trouble, right? Be a professional realtor. Go through that. If you don't know how to present that, come to the classes, right? Marion has a class. She has them here. She has them at RAM. We have them at Ignite also. You guys can show up for that. Jumpstart. You guys can show up for that one too. We try to do it at least once a month. So come to those and learn how to present your contracts, because those are critical, especially now, right? Back from 2020, if things were flying off the shelves, nobody cared. They just wanted it. Well, now the market's a little different, right? People are looking at the fine print now, especially when there's trouble. And believe you me, there's trouble brewing. Okay. Who can tell me what the difference between an amendment versus addendum is? Not Marion or Sue.
I
Benjamin.
can.
Oh, okay, Joyce.
Okay, amendment is after you're in escrow and you're changing, and the addendum is before escrow and you're adding or deleting.
100%. Joyce gets 2 gold stars today.
Ben has the same thing.
It blows my mind how many addendums we get when we're in escrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it all the time.
From seasoned agents.
Yeah.
From
So
people
just-
that have big names.
Just remember that simple thing and you'll be fine. Also remember, big deal, right? Don't let unlicensed people do stuff that requires a license. That's how you're going to get in very much trouble. Big trouble. Huge trouble. Right? That was my little Trump impersonation. Opening doors, right? Anything that requires a license, if you think, oh, maybe that needs a license, probably does, right? Don't let them do that. If you have an assistant, get them licensed. I got lots of people that are assistants that get licensed because then they can do more, right? All right. I have a message into somebody that's in the know about the governor's proclamation. We think it might be ending tomorrow. We don't know. Something might come out today that's saying it's extending it, but as far as right now, we haven't heard anything. So if I hear during the meeting that I'll update you, but stay tuned for that. Remember though, that there are things in the proclamation that run it out another 30 days, right? So make sure we read that. So without further ado, our operating principal is Colette Ching, and she is here for the week. So be on your best behavior. Oh,
I'm
wait,
sure-
sorry, I gotta talk about this too.
Yeah, please.
So nervous with you being standing there looking at me. Okay, you've all seen this around. You've gotten an email on this. It's from Christy, right? Aloha Agents and TZ. Our market center was selected by KWRM. That's our national guys to begin using the new command accounting system. Yay us.
Yay.
I think there was some sarcasm in that. The software WinMore the offices use to process your commission checks is going away. Christy and Tyler have been training the last 2 weeks to learn how to use the system. So how does this affect you? After transmit is complete for the month of June, they will be replication period through July 8th. During that period, they can't retrieve any data. So you cannot get paid during that period, right? So anything that you have going on, you should have gotten that in already to Christy. Any closings that you should have had in that period that you want to get paid on, have those DAs already in the system. Because that's going to be replicated into the new system. Marion.
Just clarify, so they're not generating DAs, is that what you're saying? Because
They will-
escrow, right?
They will be generating DAs, but it's going to be all in command instead of this DOS system they were using, I
Yeah, it's
guess.
gonna be in the new command system. So there's a period of time that she needs to make sure all your payouts are in there, so it transfers into the new system.
Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
does that mean we don't get a copy of it or the copy? will
It's
be-
all gonna be in your command, so everything is gonna be, you're gonna have a copy of everything.
So the copy of the DA will physically be, okay. That's
Yeah.
all I needed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll work through those little kinks and all that, but anything that should have you gotten paid before the 8th should have already been in there. If not, you're gonna get it paid on the 9th. So, okay,
All right,
without further ado.
thank you. Good morning, everyone. So excited to be here. So I'm gonna be sharing 3 different aspects today. The state of the industry, what's happening in our industry as a whole is very different than what's probably happening locally, but I always like to bring what's happening in the industry so you know what's happening nationally. And, you know, if you're getting out of state sellers or people that are wanting to buy, you know what's going on in the industry as a whole. And then we're going to go into a segment. There was a segment and a research focus group done by a company called 1000 Watts. And 1000 Watts gathered about 100 consumers that have either bought or sold real estate. And after the whole NAR incident and what came out of it, they wanted to do a focus group to look at the consumers and how they look at how we do business and their perspective and perception. So it's really great because it gives us an idea and an insight on how to move forward in presenting our value proposition to the consumer in a way that they want to see it. So we're going to talk about that. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is we're going to cover social media. A lot of you post social media in your business, professionally and personally. And we want to help you maximize your, I don't know if exposure is the right word, but we want to help you expand the audience that you're getting by integrating your posts with our posts, because we're going to talk about what's happening with our posts. And Hannah, do I have you on the call right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's on the call. So I know that I want to give you time back, Hannah. So if you want to start with the social media side
Okay.
to help. So how many of you post right now on social media? Can you raise your hand high? Okay. Okay. Keep your hand up high. How many of you think you post really good content on social media?
Amazing
I love like how this goes. And why that's important when you see the study is because we can, the consumer perception and perspective is malleable. Like we can literally adjust it to how we want them to view us as salespeople or agents. So what I want to do is have Hannah up, because what we did was we started testing this in November. And I was committed. I came back from a big event and 1,000 watts was speaking. And I came back and I went and I said, we're going to hire a social media person that goes to Maui and Honolulu and that can also help our agents market their listings and their souls and their actives. And we wanted to see how soon it would take us to go from where we were in audience to where we are now. So Hannah's on here to share what we've been doing and how we want you guys to get involved too as well. Go ahead, Hannah.
Thank you. So this is just a study from the last 90 days of converting all of our efforts in social media to just full force.
Can you see it?
No.
I don't know what you're showing us, Hannah. Are you showing us?
Yeah, you can't see my slides.
Nope. Just your screen and your home screen.
One second.
In mini version, you're.
Hold, please.
It was shared, but it was the wrong screen, I think.
Yeah.
What about now? Is it blue?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the results that we've been seeing over the last 90 days and then how we can partner together to maximize your content and our own content. So how many of you in the last 90 days, I can't see everyone, so Colette, you're going to have to tell me, have seen a difference in our Instagram page for KW Realty Maui?
Raise your hand if you have. Okay, only 2.
Okay,
3.
so
4.
okay, we got one on Zoom too. So if you haven't,
Okay.
you can jump over to our page on Instagram after the huddle. It's Keller Williams Realty Maui. Go ahead and follow us if you're not already, and you'll definitely start to see some different types of content that we've been posting over the last 3 months. So in 90 days, 8,692 accounts have been reached, and 95% of those accounts were non-followers. That's huge. In 90 days to go from where our page was before to where it is now. I mean, you couldn't even pay for an ad and get that many people looking at your pages right now. And this is free, besides our social media investment of the person we hired. Now, impressions, if you look down here, that's 32,250. So what that means is out of this 8,692 people, they viewed it more than one time. So the total views that we got were 32,000. Our followers, we have 1,300 followers. If you know, on our Facebook page, we have over 20,000 followers on our Facebook page. And it has grown 1.6%. So accounts engaged. So this is people liking, commenting, bookmarking our posts, sending them to someone else. So this is a big number for us. As you can see, we're up 26% on the non-follower side. So I want to really focus in on this because a lot of the followers that we have right now are some consumers, a lot of people already in the real estate industry, but we have people who aren't even following us that are engaging in our content. That's pretty huge. And this is hard. If you've ever tried to build your social media out, this is a hard number to hit. So we're already hitting that pretty consistently month over month.
So take a pause for a second, Hannah. So just to give you an idea how well this is working. So every time Keller Williams Realty Maui or Honolulu does a post, they send it to me to collaborate so that I could put it on my posts. So in the last 90 days, I had 2 separate referrals that came from that. And they were one that was not even an agent from our company. It was an agent from another company that referred us a listing lead because they said, well, we were following you. We did actually call this other company. The initials are HL, and nobody picked up. And they said, and we found that really interesting that nobody picked up their call. And so we found you on social media. And immediately when I got the text, I said, oh, happy to help, which island? And I'll refer you to the right agent. So that was a listing that went out. That was probably about $1.5 million. Then I got another referral from an agent from KW that was not following us, but because of everything happening on Maui, she started to follow us because she had donated money, to KW Cares. So the reason why we're sharing this with you is you guys are individually only one person, right? But if you have the social media behind you, we can expand your audience and your exposure to whomever you're trying to attract to use you as a buyer or a seller. So continue on, Hannah.
Yeah, and we'll get into what that looks like step by step. So top locations, as you can see, it's all very local. These numbers are very high for those local areas. I mean, there's some pages that we've ran where it's only 1%, 2%. So these are really high numbers. So a lot of local eyes on our content. And then this age range is also very interesting because typically you're 25 to 34 and your 35 to 44 are going to be pretty high. And then, your 45 to 54 and 55 to 64 range is going to be a lot lower. The fact that we have 24% in a 45 to 54 range is great. So we're hitting all audiences. And you've probably heard if you want to hit, an older demographic, post on Facebook, a younger demographic, post on Instagram, we're hitting all of the demographics on this one page. That's pretty fantastic.
So, and here would be my goal as a company. If we could hit the demographic on these two, 45 to 54 and 55 to 64, why do you think we care about that audience, Karen?
Because they're the baby boomers.
They have the most money. They're sitting on a lot of wealth right now. And if this is the time to buy, they're the ones that are going to release their money for their kids or whoever they're investing for. Go ahead, Hannah.
And I will say, this is the highest percentage I've ever seen on any account that I've been affiliated with for this age range. So we're going to keep pushing that. That's really great. So how does this work and benefit for you? So not only is it helping the brand of Keller Williams Realty Maui and the consumer seeing what we're doing, we want to post your content. The only reason we're hitting these numbers is because people are sending us what they're doing out in the community. And oddly enough, even though we're a real estate page, the home pictures of just listed and just sold, that's not what's gaining traction. It's important. It's not what's gaining traction. It's all of these culture events. So right here, these are our top 9 posts in the last 90 days.
Does that surprise you guys that the real estate side is not what's getting hit on? Why do you think? Not just boring, not just boring. Why do you think, Liza?
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you know.
Exactly. And look at the post where Liza has a check that was written, right? So as an agent, she already does that and gives, but on top of that, she's showing what she's doing and how she's helping as a community. People want to work with people they trust. People want to work with people that they know care about the community, care about them, right? Okay, go on, Hannah.
And every one of these is pretty much a culture post. And we talk about with Keller Williams how strong our culture is. And now we're just showing it. We're telling our story. We've been talking about telling our story for so long. And now we're actually doing it. And people want to hear our story clearly. That's why our page is growing so much. So what that looks like for you, send us your content, DM the account, even if it's videos that aren't edited yet, send us the clips. We can always put that together in a trending reel to help, get the numbers boosted. Tag us on your posts, please, so we can repost those onto our stories. And my favorite tool, which not everybody's familiar with, it is a newer feature, is called collaboration. And that's what Colette was just talking about. So what we have found is, let's say we do a post let's say the Maui check post, for example, right here from Gary Keller. So we collaborated with Colette. Because we collaborated with her and she accepted it, not only is our following viewing it and engaging with it, Colette's whole following is engaging and viewing with it, and it's showing up on her main feed. So the more people we collaborate with, the more people will see the post and engage with the post, which is good for you. If you're a collaborator on the post, more people are going to find your page. So if you can, when you're doing these things and you're posting something about KW or something you're doing in the community, add us as a collaborator so we can post that on our main feed as well. And you also get those insights. So if we have a post that goes viral on our page and you're a collaborator, it'll go viral on your page and your stats will shoot up on your side, which will force Instagram to push your content more. So we can do a whole series on this and really deep dive into it. But for now, we wanted to make sure that you knew this was a resource. I mean, imagine getting your listings and your content for free in front of 8,000 people. That's pretty awesome. So if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me and start tagging us, collaborating with us. And
Well, they might have a quick question now. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
So where do I get full step-by-step instructions? I have these accounts, but I never touch them.
Okay.
Good question.
That is a great question. I can provide that for you on how to do collaboration, where to send your content. I can do all of that. I'll send that to you.
Are you gonna send me an email?
So if we created a one pager on how to do this, would that be helpful? Okay, so we'll just create a one pager for everybody.
Thank you.
And remember that you know, we're promoting this page for lifestyle, right? Most of you see the top content creators are promoting the lifestyle of where they're located. So we're located on Maui, right? Easy lifestyle stuff, right? Whatever you like to do,
I do.
hand gliding and all that stuff, right? I mean, cool stuff, hiking, all that stuff people want to see, right? So it's not only our community service work, but also the stuff you like to do for fun, right?
100%.
Really good point. And so we'll create you a one pager on how to do this with your content. For right now, anything that you've shot that you send it to, we'll give you who to send it to. Can you put it on the chat, who to send it to, Ashley? Right?
Yep.
And then we can start to help you with it and create content for you and then send it back to you and then you can post. Okay. Any other questions on that? I mean, this is the wave of the future. This takes over the marketing we used to all spend money on, right? Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you, Hannah. Now you have your time back. She was waiting till the whole very end.
Well,
Okay,
I'm still running your slides, so.
Okay, good.
Be here.
But I also know you're doing like 5 things at one time. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna go really quick with the state of the industry and the stats. So I don't know how many of you know this, but every time in your KW Connect, there's a guy named Ruben that does the market industry snapshot every month that you have access to on YouTube. And you can provide that content to your clients. And we'll show you where that is after I've gone through what I've gone through. So this is what he creates for all of us agents all over the US so that we can provide to our clients when we're either taking a listing or trying to explain to them what's going on with the industry. So let's go with home sales annually. So in 24, they're expecting we're going to do 4.2 million in home sales. Okay. They feel it's going to be the same number forecasted in 2025. How many agents do you believe we have in all across the US? Yeah, 1 point is down now down to 1.3. 1.3 million, and we forecast 4.2 million.
You mean more?
No, 4.2 million in sales.
Oh.
Forecasted, yeah, units. So in my mind, if I'm an agent in a local market, how do you get your unfair share of that opportunity, right? So that's just the home sales. Annual appreciation. California market and Hawaii market are similar in the sense that we're still appreciating but we don't have the right inventory in that middle market to sell. So our high end is what's being listed here right now? What's a lot of the listings?
STR.
All the short-term rentals, right? So there's that market that we're missing. So prices are still holding, but there might be low inventory here locally. So what they're seeing is annual appreciation at 1.6% overall in the US. Affordability. So we want to be in affordability. The historical has been around 27%. And where it is on the average in the last 3 years has been affordability 20%. You're going to see a slide here coming up that new home sales in the US have slowed down, which is a concern because new home sales is the most affordable housing in terms of first-time home buyers. So, you know, we're seeing consumers kind of take a stop for a second. So let's go into inventory. How much inventory do we have here? Who's doing
5.5 months.
5.5 months?
Something like that, right? Yeah, it's right around 5.5.
So that's a good inventory amount. What's the days on market?
Between 15 and 180 before they sell. It's really expanded.
Okay, so the conversations now, if it's days on market longer, we're gonna have different conversations. Reduction conversations almost upfront versus when it's starting to happen, right? So we've seen this in other markets before. So days on market in the US is 3.2 months. Mortgage rates. Well, we saw the mortgage rates go anywhere from 7.25 to 7.5, right? We don't expect mortgage rates to come down until December, if at all, and that would be 0.25%. And know that the mortgage rates are 18 months behind. So if they're thinking of doing a mortgage rate reduction in December, they would have had to have been thinking about this for the last year already. If they don't do a decrease in mortgage rates in December, we are not going to see a decrease until next year. So don't expect it to go under 7% anytime soon. So almost surrender your mind into having the conversation with buyers and sellers about the 7%. And then if we're in this for another 2 years, they can refi at that time. So don't hold out for that buyer. Or a great idea that came up in a mastermind with top agents is, what if you went through your database and talked to all the clients that said, hey, when it turns into 6%, have you talked to anybody that said that to you lately? When interest rates go down to 6%, has anyone said that to you? That's holding off on buying. Sam said yes, right? Have you all the time? So when you say all the time, Sam, is it several clients have said that to you? Okay. So what if you went in your database and all the clients that told Sam 6%, she marked them in command as 6%, as the tickler of 6%. So let's say she had 7 clients that said, hey, the minute it goes down to 6%, I'm in. So now Sam has set up her command to tickler her and as a category, as a tag. So the minute she sees the interest rates go down 6%, let's say it's a year from now, she pulls up all the people that said 6%. And now she's calling all of them. That's 6, 7 clients that she had for that year in 2025 or 2026, whatever the case may be. So instead of tagging your people A, B, C, D on when they're going to buy or sell, tag them according to what's most important to them to buy or sell. Right? So that's a new smart plan you can create. Okay, the economy, let's go to that. Okay, so unemployment is 3.6, which is really good. In Hawaii, it's about 3.3.
Maui's 5.4 now.
Oh, Maui's 5.4.
Oh.
What are they doing?
Choosing not to work.
I know, and you know how we know this? We have a job opening here in this office, and we're having a hard time filling that spot, which is surprising to me, right? Because how are they making a living? Or maybe it's somebody we're not seeing that could be the right candidate for that position here. So if in Maui it's 5.4, that's the biggest challenge, right? Affordability is another big challenge in any case. GDP. So GDP, that's gross domestic product, that's 2.5. What we're seeing in the US is that people are holding off buying luxury items. So people aren't buying cars anymore and they're kind of holding off. They are buying goods and services. They're still maybe dining out or doing things. Debt is the highest it's ever been. Credit card debt is the highest. I heard a statistic the other day that scared the living daylights out of me. And it was that 82% of people that are employed that are over anywhere from the age range of 40 to 65 cannot write a check for $600. Yeah, my mouth dropped. So, you know, we have to, that's the reality of the general group. We have to focus on, like the shift says, we need to focus on the motivated. We're in an industry that we need to just focus on the positives of those who will. And there will be people that will buy and sell in any market. I mean, if they could buy and sell in 2007, 8, and 9, they're buying. And when we looked at Maui's numbers compared to what we forecasted last year, we are doing incredible. We really are doing incredible in Maui. Honolulu's having a challenge, but they're turning around their ship now in this Q2. Okay, so that's GDP. And I'm not looking at my phone, I'm looking at my iPad, just so you know. Inflation. Okay, so inflation, we're at, right now, we are at, the target is 2.5 and we're at 2.7. And we just have to watch this because everyone's asking, are we in a recession? The feds are watching this between unemployment and inflation. And we're watching this in the sense that what we want to make sure of is that we start to have conversations with people about the opportunities to invest in something that can make them money versus just, are you interested in buying or selling? So I heard a term the other day, which I loved. It says every dollar should have a job. Every dollar. So there are the wealthy or the baby boomers that have a lot of money sitting in the bank, right? And if there's a really great opportunity or investment right now in Maui, you know, be calling those people because every dollar has to have a job, meaning it should bring return on investment. And there might be some good values right now in Maui that people aren't aware of, right? Or maybe an opportune time to sell. So this is the market snapshot that they do for us. So you want to run the QR code because again, you can provide this to your clients as part of your smart plan or your touch plan so that they're in the know. And this is done every month and it's released every month. So what does this mean for you? So with the industry updates, there's a lack of inventory, which we know, and the mortgage rates are high. And my question to you is, if the inventory is low and the mortgage rates are high, how are we in Maui still selling homes and people are still buying homes? Cash, right? You have a lot of cash buyers. What are they buying and where are they buying from? So if you've done a transaction recently, where are they coming from
California,
and why are they buying?
because they think that this is the best time to buy and that rates are gonna go up because the market is so scary.
Okay, anyone else? Jason?
I have renters who've been renting here for the last couple of years from out of state that are, because the rent prices are increasing, they're purchasing cash.
So they're purchasing something now. And let me ask you a question. How did you keep in touch with renters? There you go. Great, thanks for that. Karen?
I've had people on my listings come in from out of state and get jobs here because nobody here wants to work, like Mark brought out.
They don't want to work for the pay that's being offered.
That's
That's the unfortunate key is our pay is low.
Okay,
Yeah, but they're coming in from out of state and taking those jobs, so.
But they haven't lived here long enough yet.
And they're coming in from out of state and working remote, which is a bunch of people.
oh,
Because
wow,
now you have the
okay.
ability to work remote.
So people are buying. Mortgage rates are still high. There's a lack of inventory, yet there's an opportunity here, right? You just have to find the opportunity within the opportunity for the right buyer or seller. Okay? Changing customer demands and expectations, consolidating set of services. So what I want you guys to think about, and we're going to be talking about that later on, is stop thinking transactional and start thinking of households under management. And I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. So we've got legal threats to the cooperation and buyer's agency commissions, the technology landscape and new competitors, and attempts to be intermediate the real estate agent. Okay, so we know all that. So let's go into opportunities. So there's a greater opportunity to differentiate yourself and your service to the consumer. You can be the agent that offers more. Okay. A really good book for you guys all to read is Unreasonable Hospitality. That's a really good book. It's about going beyond what you do and what your title says of what you do. Okay, consumers are seeking one source from one person, I'm going to say, and broader services. Opportunity for deeper, longer, and more profitable client relationships. So your gold mine right now is in your phone. So if you go to your phone right now and you go to the very bottom of your contacts, on average, I'm trusting that most of you have at least 2,000 people in your contacts. That's where the trust is and the relationship, okay? Okay, let's go to next. So I love this quote, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. So this is the existing reality we're in. Low inventory, high mortgage interest, right? To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So there's Target, there's Costco, there's Walmart, there's Old Navy, Banana Republic, right? And Gap. What's the common denominator in all of those brands I just named to you?
They're owned by the same company, just different versions.
So owned by the same company, different versions. How are they all still in business?
Because they offer different.
What?
I was thinking they were all cool 20 years ago.
Right. But do you shop at any of them?
No.
Yes.
None of them. Okay. Does anybody shop in any of them? So there's an audience and a consumer for every brand and service. How this relates to you is, how are you going to take that obsolete model of thinking, I'm just an agent and what I do is sell, list homes, or help a client buy a home? How do you go beyond that thinking and differentiate yourself? How many agents, real agents, that sell on the island right now? I know there's 1,200 that have licenses, but how many of those really sell? 800? And out of the 800, the 80/20 is what? 300?
Yeah.
So how do you be the 300? How do you differentiate your value and your offering and your services? So starts with your mindset. You have to make a decision and a commitment to who you want to be in this market. So here's my big question for you today, and it's number 5. What is your impact statement? Does anybody even know what an impact statement is? What is your impact statement? Why did you get into real estate? Somebody tell me. Why'd you get into real estate? Yes.
Same reason as you. I had 3 babies, no house, no money, no car, had just run for my life. I needed money fast. I wanted to raise my kids not on welfare and in a nice schools and everything, and desperation,
Okay.
basically.
So she got into real estate over desperation. Is that how she's going to end up selling her services and value to a buyer or seller? No. There is an impact statement in there that you have to define for yourself. And what is that impact statement for yourself? You want to change lives? You want to help families? You want to create wealth? Whatever that is, you have to believe that so much that it is, internally in you. And when you market yourself, when you brand yourself, when you're in social media, when you're having conversations with people over coffee, when you're at a social event, that comes out and people know that about you. Yes, Ruby.
I'd like to share that everybody knows who Mark Sheehan is, right? So Mark Sheehan, when I met Mark, I had a hair salon. So I see Mark every 6 to 8 weeks. And this was in the late, early 90s. And he said, Ruby, you teach yoga and you do hair and everybody likes you. You should get into real estate. So he was my teacher. So I got into real estate because of Mark Sheehan. And through the years, even though I'm in different company, and technically I'm not the best verbal or technical communicator, but I've been doing well and consistent. And I really enjoy joining this company. People are very neutral minded. They don't judge. They all help me, especially this one. So thank you. That's how I got it. And
So-
I enjoy it. I love.
And you do well. And you know why? It's because you've presented a lifestyle that you can have and still be in this business. And that's the important thing. Any consumer that hires you wants to know that they're going to trust you with a lifestyle that they would like to lead on Maui. So when you think about your sites, your websites, your marketing, is it a lifestyle? Is it about how you help families move into areas or what they need and want for their kids, schools, whatever that is? Those are hugely impactful. Okay. Second question is, what does winning mean to you? How do you win in this market? What does that mean to you? Referrals. So if winning means to you, you get referrals, then you need to be in touch with your clients and not call them just quarterly. Maybe call them more often. Maybe have an event, a lifestyle event that doesn't cost a lot of money. How many of you are actually doing a 4th of July event with your clients this year? Picnic, bring your kids, potluck, we're all going to hang out. Just a thought. It's a holiday, right? So if you can't afford client events, be creative. What events can you do with your clients? So this is lifestyle. We're on an island. We love the beach. We love, whatever, walking, or maybe create an event where a lot of your clients, if they're walkers or they work out, that you could do. There's an agent in KW. She started a walking club in the neighborhood she farms. She gets all the listings in this tract of 200 homes. That's all she's done. She was a door knocker and then they got to know her. She lives in that tract and she just started a walking club. So think about a community or a lifestyle you can create with your database, right? What do you take a stand for? That's a really big question right now. Think about what's happening in the short-term rental industry right now. You have a lot of clients really concerned. They don't know which way it's going to go. Did you show up to the event that they had where agents got up there and took a stand to represent short-term rentals? You know, what do you take a stand for? If you're concerned your clients might be losing money, maybe reach out in your database and go, hey, I want to tell you what's going on right now on the island. What do you take a stand for? Don't take a listing just because you want the listing. Take a listing because you're going to sell the listing. Don't be a listing agent, be a agent who sells the listing. Who are you going to collaborate with? Sometimes being an agent, you feel like you're on a lone island. You know, I mean, we are on an island, but I mean, sometimes you feel like as an agent, you're doing this on your own. So we want to create opportunities. I know Keone does classes. I know Sasha has classes. We have gatherings. It's amazing what you can learn if you just get in collaboration with other people, right? And we want you guys to know that, you know, we're always here to offer you information so that you can level up your game in your business. And then again, going back to 5, you really got to figure out your impact statement. And that's got to come across anything you market or do. So let's go right into, okay, the study. I want to go into the study because I think it's really important and it's going to be fascinating to you guys. And I got to go through this really fast. So the study was 100 consumers who bought or sold real estate right after the whole NAR. And then all the buyer's commissions. I mean, any of you have clients already asking you about what does this mean for us, right? I'm pretty sure everybody, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, this was the study. How do you react to the following statement? This is them asking the consumer. The recent lawsuits in the real estate industry have made me question the value of a real estate agent. 39% strongly agree on the 8 or more on the rankings. The average ranking was 6.9. So it brought a question in their mind. Now, that's not a bad thing. They're just more aware because of all this publicity. Okay? It's not a bad thing. Okay, the next. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am now more likely to seek out alternative real estate service or platforms that offer lower commissions if a buy or sell on a home in the future. 44.37% strongly agreed over 8. I know when I first watched this, I was like, oh, our industry. And then I'm going to show you the upside. Okay. Real estate agents who work with buyers often get paid. This is again going to the focus group. So real estate agents who work with buyers often get paid a fee of 2.5% of the purchase price of their home. For example, if an agent would get paid $12,500 on a $500,000 home purchase, based on this, what do you think? 53% said real estate agents who work with buyers get paid about right. So they feel it's a fair and reasonable compensation. That's good. That's good. Okay, currently in most real estate transactions, the agent representing the buyers pay 2.5%. And the commission is determined by the seller and their agent before the home is listed for sale. And it comes out of the seller's sales price at the close of escrow. How do you interpret this? Do you think this is fair? 94% said yes.
Great.
65% said the buyer is so it was 94% said it's fair.
Question,
Yes.
do you know what price range this was done in?
Well, they gave the example, 500,000.
Oh, okay.
They
sorry, I
gave the
missed-
example. If you were buying a home, another 500,000 examples right here. If you were buying a home today and your budget was 500,000, how would you be willing to pay for the services of real estate agents to guide you through the process? 37% said $10,000. So for all of you who sell 700, a million, 2 million, don't get nervous. Just how do we articulate what value we bring to the listing and the buy side? And that's what we're going to talk about. So people's views are highly malleable. Okay, so now we're going into these statements that the 1000 watt presented to them to see how malleable their perception and perspective could be. Which of these statements do you agree with more? I'm just going to go right to the 70%. It is worth paying a real estate agent to help you buy a home because it's a big, complex purchase requiring the expert guidance of a professional. So imagine that you were arrested for something. I see these eyes. What? You're arrested for something and you have to hire an attorney. Or you don't. You could represent yourself. Right? And it's a big case. You would go hire an attorney. Or you're sick, you don't feel well, your stomach, you're having issues with your stomach, and it's a major issue. You're not going to go to a primary physician. You're going to go to a gastroenterologist. So how do you create the persona, the expertise, the professionalism image to the consumer so that the value of what they pay for is fair and reasonable? The next one, what do you think is the most valuable service of the agent who helped you buy your home provided? 33% said interpreting inspections and disclosure reports about properties and noting potential issues. That's what Keone said. If you guys are sending stuff to just get docu-signed and you are not sitting on a Zoom or in front of your client going through every part, you're not doing your job. You guys get paid, you women and men get paid a lot of money. We should go through every part of the buyer's or listings contract with our clients. Even if it's someone who's super busy and have bought and sold before. Just say, you know, if this is their third or fourth property, that's fine. But if it's their first or second, you need to go through it with them. Okay, which of these statements do you think is most true? Going back to the 55%, a real estate agent can help buyers make smarter decisions. Yes, by looking at the pros and cons of a home, translating inspection and disclosure reports, or interpreting fine print in the paperwork. Who likes to read fine print? Nobody. Yet it's our job to go through the fine print for the client. Okay, why do you feel that the services of a real estate agent are not necessary when buying a home? So note the agents are not necessary in that sentence. 45% said because I can find a home for myself online and tour them at open houses. So with that statement, in your mind, you need to counter that statement and provide an example, right? So here's a menu of services that was created from this company, and then we kind of put some things in here too. So here's my menu of services. Let's say I'm an agent. I give the confidence to do something scary and life-changing. Ask and find answers for the things I don't know to ask. Tell me what is and is not a problem with the house that I want to buy. Use data and acknowledge born from experience to help me know what is enough to offer and what is too much. Use data and knowledge. Yeah, I said that. Oh, that's why is that in that twice? Okay. Protect my money from a listing agent obligated to get as much for their client as they can. Why does that say that in there? Dual agency, right? How many of you are dual agents or have been in the past? Okay. So one of my rules when I was an agent, not ever to be a dual agent. So what I would do is I'd find an Ally or a JC or a Teresa, and I said, here's the deal. I know my listings are going to sell. I don't want to have to represent a buyer that walks in from an open house or somebody that thinks they're going to get a good deal. So Teresa, I'm going to work out a deal with you in advance. And this is how it's going to work. Liza's going to walk in the door. She's going to love the property, which I'm confident is going to sell. She's going to have no agent, or she'll want to dump her agent the minute she sees this property is going to go into multiple. But I'm going to tell you, if she asks me, I'm going to go straight to you, Teresa, and then you can represent Liza. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay.
You still need a dual agency disclosure because it's still KW.
Sure. I understand that. I'm just
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
representation of agent to buyer to seller.
And then you get a referral fee.
Yep. On a deal you would never have gotten. Right? So I'll manage it up to that point, but then they'll hand it to you to close it. And go through inspections and do all the things you should do. Right? Okay. Leverage your relationships with everyone from house cleaners to loan officers. So this is what we mean by household under management. When you start to do transactions with clients, think of it as a relationship that you want to build for the whole house. From the time they buy it till they may or may not sell in 5 to 10 years. But you are going to help them manage that house for that long of a period. And I'll explain why. Help me not screw it up and end up in bankruptcy, divorce, or consumed with regret. Yeah, right. We laugh at that, but that's very true. Before the financial crisis in 2007 and 8, I was an agent. And that was when they were giving away loans. Like you could put nothing down, right? They were just handing out mortgages like it was nothing. And I remember I represented like 30 clients that year. And I was like, oh no, if you're putting less than 10% down, I'm not having it. You got to come up with 15 or 20. And every client, why? I'm like, what if you lose your job? I would tell my client, what if you lose your job? How are you going to afford the house? Oh, I didn't think about that. Or I'd go, what if this happens? And when that crisis happened, you don't know how many, back then it wasn't emails. So you don't know how many calls I got. Thank God I don't need to sell my home. Like, thank God I bought at a right time and have the right mortgage. And you advised me right. It's easy to just get the deal done. But it may not be easy if the market changes. So you always have to protect the client, right? For future. So you get paid for 3 things. And I have an acronym for that. So guess what the the words are for the acronym? FAN. FAN. F-A-N. What do you guys think? What does that stand for? Anyone? Oh, good. What does A stand for? Anticipate. And then what does N stand for? Yep, that's right. Okay, awesome. So how do we communicate our value through, social media, or what are the opportunities to communicate our value? So here's the 5 keys of the future. Meet the changing needs and the power of the consumer. Go from transaction closed to households represented. What do I mean by that? So if I represent a household versus doing a transaction, what do I get to be in charge of? Yes, Karen.
Their life.
What is an example of that though? Household under management. Think of the word.
The go-to resource.
So JC, great point. What resource under a house could I go to you for if you sold me that house?
Everything from electrician, plumber,
Everything.
everything.
So you need to start thinking to the point where when you close on a house, whether if you're representing the buyer or whether you're representing the seller, go through all the appliances. Take a video. We talked about this on our wealth call. Be the agent that takes the video of everything in that home once they buy that house for insurance purposes. You are now that agent that does it all for anything under management. They'll come to you for everything. Electrician, landscaper, house cleaner, handyman, insurance person. So think household under management. And the cool thing about household under management is when you're looking at your contacts, they're related to another household. So maybe they don't refer you someone who's going to buy or sell right away, but I'm so excited about JC, my agent, who's such more than an agent, that I go around telling everybody, oh yeah, he has a list of all these people you need for maintaining a house. Right?
Colette, really quick,
Yes.
can you say what your acronym was again for the people on Zoom?
FAN, fiduciary, anticipate, negotiate.
Thank
NF
you.
can also stand for facilitate your fiduciary, right? Harness the role of tech, data, and AI. You know how you have an operations manual for anything, your car, your refrigerator, anything. What if you created an operations manual for the house that you sold? Or the house you helped someone buy? And you handed them a booklet that said, Amanda, Keller Williams Realty Maui, and this is your home under management. If you need this, you need this, you need this, and it's all right there. Or you send it to them online, whatever, but it's a book, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, Amanda created this amazing resource for me. And maybe it's someone who moves into the neighborhood that's new from another island. You create another book of local things in the area to do, lifestyle to do, things to do. Okay. And then evolve and grow your business economics as the industry adjusts. So the evolution of our industry is going to go from transaction to households under management. If there's anything we teach you today, the biggest things is going to be, because we're going over our time, so I want to respect your time, is to think household under management, and think, how does your social media represent the lifestyle that a consumer wants, whether they're selling or buying in Maui, right? Let's just move along. The ownership life cycle, the agent and the consumer. And then we went through the whole social media. So we're good. That's it. Any questions? Any thoughts? Well, I want your ahas for sure. I want your ahas. Was that valuable information? Yeah. So our action plan is we're going to give you a one-pager for social media. How to integrate your social media with ours so that we can collaborate. Okay, what were your ahas from today before we go? Yes, Mark.
I love my Maui lifestyle and now I get to share it.
Yes, and that might be your impact statement. think about what your impact statement is for your brand. So Hannah, are you still there? So Hannah has a sign. You can't, I don't think you can see it unless I make her the speaker. But she has a sign in her, there. What do you guys see on that sign?
Impact, invest, inspire.
That's my impact statement. So in everything I do with our people in my life, I want to impact, I want to help invest in people and in things, and I want to inspire. So that's on my Zoom room. She just copied my Zoom. She gets to because she
Cool.
I know she created it. But so that's my impact statement. So think of your impact statement. A mantra that you can tell people that they remember those things about you. Okay? Okay, great. Takeaway? That was a good one, Mark.
Changing the mindset.
Changing your mindset or the
No,
mindset
the
of
mindset of the consumer.
changing the mindset of the consumer.
And adding your value for sure nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they say that they think that you're overpaid, but then they say, oh no, the pay's good. In the same study there.
So there is a
So
job.
they don't know. They don't
Hannah,
know.
do we have what we're setting up for our agents through social media on the buy side? Remember the ABC Realty, and do you have a sample of that?
I do, yes.
We can check. So we wanted to start running this campaign, but we want you to run the campaign. We want you to run it on your social media and you time it whenever. We're giving you the message though. So this was really cool because when I saw this at 1,000 watt, I was like, that's genius. It's funny and you can incorporate it in between sales. So the first one says, I can't read it here. So yeah, the first dream home, nightmare home, it's our job to spot the difference. And then you put JC, right? So you kind of take this and you create this, everything that can go wrong won't go wrong. Because Zillow won't tell you about the bad wiring. I love that one.
Do we have to use the Z word?
You don't have to use anything.
Your online source won't tell you about the bad wire.
Yeah.
I want to advertise. for
You
these.
do whatever you want. This is just the concept and the idea to be funny, but yet to be realistic. Don't hire us to find you a don't hire us. Don't hire us. What?
But look at the caption. So
I
don't
know.
hire us to find you a home. There are apps for that. Hire us to scrutinize it and weigh the pros and cons. Our knowledge will save you money, save your sanity, and give you confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. So we wanted to run this in our companies and we're gonna put it, you'll see it every now and then in an ad, but you won't catch it, like unless you're following us or you market it too. Deal killer or nice to know, navigating the home inspection. And there's a whole sentence above it. Okay? Big deal or no, we help you sort out confusing disclosure reports. Expertise on all your reports and documents. So, like I
would write down all these, and this is your value proposition.
Yeah.
And go to talk to sales. They obviously don't care about the money that much. They think they do, but that study showed that they don't know what the money is until you show them. They think it's 6%, but it's not. It's 2.5, it's 2, it's 5, it's whatever, right? It's whatever you talk to them about, and then you gotta share it with somebody. So go through that whole conversation before you start giving yourself a commissionectomy.
Yeah.
Because obviously you still think it's fine.
And it's one of the biggest assets a person's gonna own in their lifetime. So you wouldn't want to discount that.
Is there a place we can find these now online?
They're not online. We're setting them all up for our offices, but we can share this with you, this PowerPoint slide.
Perfect.
And then you just customize it for yourselves and put your backgrounds on it and wherever you sell, you know, if like you just closed a really great deal with someone and you have handing their keys and they're all excited, you might want to put one of these in there that like kind of verifies that, you know, you want an agent to represent you. All right, a couple more ahas and then we're done. Come on. JC said one. Mark? Yes, Liza.
I like the household management and most of us have our own preferred vendor list, but I think our market center was working on a preferred vendor list. Do we have an updated one?
I don't know. We've been working on that preferred vendor list for like a year, so I'm not quite sure why it's not updated. But that's a good idea. And if you guys have any one person that you're like over the moon about, just send that all, I think, send it to Hannah or Ally.
Send it to me for now.
Okay, send it to Hannah. So anybody that you use that you're like, they're an incredible handyman, or what a great plumber, or the reliable electrician. And then we can create one, because what you don't want to do, and we put a disclosure on the bottom that these are all right. They can use whoever they want, that these are just people that have been vetted through our company, right? Yes.
I loved numbers, so I love the stats on the, do you want to use a real estate agent? Those were phenomenal.
Yeah.
You're
You're welcome. Yes.
Going back to Mark's lifestyle. I have children, so
Yes.
me inviting everybody doing that is a lot.
Yeah.
To get to the beach, so instead of like having a party around the 4th of July, whatever, I'm actually just like handpicking one family at a time.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah.
Because I have like this limiting belief, like this is too much. But if I can do one thing small and, overall it's gonna gradually add up to.
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. When I was an agent, when I could finally afford a PR company to do my marketing, which was $10,000, which was a lot at the time. $10,000, they asked me all these questions, and whatever I answered, they put in my website, and it was a lifestyle thing. And this is way before lifestyles were a thing. But why I got like 10 of my most important clients is because they went to my site and saw like, and one of the pictures is like me and my youngest daughter at the time, my oldest daughter at the time. We were on a cafe on Montana Avenue in Santa Monica having tea in front of, and like she's in front of me and I'm just talking to her. And then I had a beach shot at the pier, and when the photographer was making me go to all these places, I'm like, oh my God, and it's sold. Because people from New York or other people would look and go, oh, that's the lifestyle I want. I want to be by the beach. I want to be in Brentwood or Santa Monica. And I got 10 of my clients through the lifestyle concept. So, and going back to the private events, make it so it's in bite-sized pieces. So I just started doing events at my house with certain clients. And then I started calling it a white barbecue. And so like, why did that not make sense at all? Barbecue white, but it didn't matter. They came. And then I got clients that ended up referring me business. So whatever you do, whatever lifestyle you enjoy, if you're a yoga instructor, maybe invite people to a free yoga class. I mean, you don't know what your database is doing or not doing. If you would like to hike, give the top 10 3 hiking spots on your website or whatever it is you post on social media that you've actually done yourself. You will start to get a following you never got before, just because of lifestyle. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Hannah.